Cool Hand Podcast, something you got to deal with. Welcome back to the show. I am your host. My name is Q. I was in a real search for guests, and it's kind of hard, diving into DMs, going to complete strangers and asking them if they want to talk to somebody they've never met before. And this is just somebody who happened to oblige me. So I want to thank my guest for agreeing to be on the show. I'm rocking the plaid New York stanky Yankee. Shout out to my pops who got me this hat. And this is a part of the place this guest comes from. So guest, please introduce yourself.
Hi, I am Jasmine. I am in Connecticut right now, originally from New Orleans, Louisiana. And yeah, I'm happy to be here. I live up here. I'm a hairstylist. I really love music. I do film photography. And recently I just started DJing.
Wow. So we got a lot to talk about. So how much time of your life did you spend in New Orleans?
Ooh, my whole life. Only came up here 2020.
Oh, okay. So wow. So you're for real down south.
Yeah, I am born and raised in New Orleans.
Okay. Okay, that's interesting. So what was life like growing up down there?
Oh man, New Orleans is, I am biased. I still do truly think it is one of the greatest cities in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just because I'm from there, but it was really fun. It was really, really fun. I will say, like, the culture New Orleans has is unlike any other place in the world. Like the way that we just love art, we love music, the way we love people, really just shaped who I became now, So just growing up was just really, it's a vibrant city. So I feel like I had a vibrant childhood, So I was always getting into something, always in some type of music program, always in some art, always doing something creative. It's kind of shaped who I am now.
Okay. So, all right. For someone who has never been to New Orleans or Louisiana in general, and that includes myself, I've never been to New Orleans. So, how would you describe the culture to someone who's never been?
I would say it's like if you took, Lord, you can't, how to explain it to somebody who's not from there? I would say, like whatever you think a regular American city is like, get it out your head. It's probably the closest I feel like you could be to not being in America while still being in America. It's just, man, how do I even explain it? It's a beautiful city, and the culture is so deep and rich that when you go, you just kind of have to go with like an open mind.
Interesting. So you have to be there. You really need to visit to
You really have
understand.
to be there. You could see pictures and be like, oh, the houses are colorful and like the music, but when you get there, you're like, oh, I've never seen anything like this before.
Gotcha. Okay. That's so when I think New Orleans, now I'm a basketball fan, so I think the Pelicans. Um, I guess Saints, but I'm more basketball focused. But I also think food, and I don't know
Mhm.
all the food down there, but I think catfish. I think
Mhm.
beignets. Is that what they call them?
Yes.
Beignets. Okay.
Yeah. So you think about like your Cajun Creole food, which is so crazy because it's down south. So everyone's like, "Oh, y'all do like macaroni and ribs and stuff." And I'm like, "No, we do like very muddy, like your gumbos, your etouffees, all your stuff like that. Your beignets, obviously, it's got a really rich like food history as well.
Gotcha. Now I'm gonna sound real ignorant, but what is a etouffee?
It's like a dang, how do I explain? It's like a
I'm about to Google it too.
honestly, you should, because like once you see a picture of it, it's gonna make sense. It's like a stew almost, but it's like cream
Oh,
based,
okay. Oh yeah, this looks good.
doesn't it? Well,
Okay.
I mean, everything from New Orleans looks good, but like, don't that look really good?
Yeah, that looks good. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna have to go down to New Orleans. That might be a vacation
Y'all have to
destination
go down to
next
New
year.
Orleans.
Yeah.
A
I'm
hundred
gonna bring
percent.
it up to my wife because now you got me intrigued. Honestly, I never had to go to New Orleans a day in my life before right now. So now you piqued my
This
interest.
moment, write it down. Y'all have to go to New Orleans.
Yeah, we're gonna figure that out.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Put in the
Okay.
list.
So you grew up in New Orleans, and you said you were always in some sort of art or music program. So
Mm-hmm.
that seems like that's the foundation of your creativity. What specifically did you do artistically, musically? What were you into as a young and coming up?
So, as a kid growing up, I can honestly say my foundation was really my parents. My dad's originally from Detroit. My mom's from New Orleans, but my dad has always done music. So he's DJed, he's produced, he's done all of that. So it really starts with like him on the music side, and then my mom just being really into like creative arts in general. So she did Lord, I can't think, musical theater. So it really starts with them. So even as a kid, my mom, she had us in like piano for like first 12 years of my life. So it's the piano, and then I had, like that side of music. But then on the other hand, I had my dad who was always making something or playing something or putting me onto something. So it just kind of like both of those together growing up just kind of made me.
Got you. Okay. So now, do you still play the piano or dibble and dabble?
I can work my way around a piano for sure. I stopped around like, I think 13 or so.
Okay.
So if you put a piano in front of me right now and was like, play some, I'm like, oh no. But the foundation of it, I still know.
Okay. Do you regret quitting or letting go of it? I don't want to
Mhm.
say quit.
Yes, I would say. Because I feel like it takes discipline. So even if I didn't play now, I wish I was disciplined enough to had kept going on with it. If that makes sense. Like not to say I would have had to make in my life, but I wish I had the discipline to keep going. I feel like it definitely would have like helped me in even the endeavors I have now, just like the structure of like playing piano.
Understood. And I asked that, that's kind of a personal question too, because I think a lot of young people, when they are in band or in an orchestra, I think we take the instrument for granted when we're younger. And then, because I used to play the tenor saxophone and I was pretty good as a kid, and I stopped in like fourth, fifth grade, and I regret
Mhm.
it 100%. Um,
No,
yeah,
I feel you. I do. Like there's times I like call my mom, be like, "Why did you make me stop?" And she's like, "Cause you didn't want to do it no more." And I was like, "But come
exactly.
on, that's not like." I wish I would have kept up with it. I wish somebody would have been like, "No, you're gonna play," just because like the discipline. It makes for greatness.
Absolutely. So you do have a foundation, and which is pretty cool. If you put a piano in front of you, you could work your way around it. So it's like riding a bike, I guess. Uh, so what did your parents have you listening to with this? On your mom's side and learning the piano, then your dad coming from Detroit. What were some of the artists that you remember from your childhood?
Man, growing up, I would say there was a lot of a like at least from my dad, 'cause I feel like he was always playing more music in a sense. So it really was just whatever he was playing. And he was playing everything at that point, you know? So growing up, it was I remember in a car they used to always play Speaker Box and Love Below, Outcast all the time.
Okay.
Like for some reason that's just in my head. That and then Slum Village, one of the first songs I ever remembered my dad playing for me was the instrumental version of Fall in Love.
Okay.
And so throughout life I feel like we just had like a very heavy influence of hip hop, but not even just that, because then when we go back, like we listen to a lot of jazz too, and jazz really became one of like my first like like music wise, one of my first loves was like jazz music, and it's because I heard what could come from it, which was like just really good soulful sounding hip hop, you know. So like you have your Dillas, you have your Mad Libs, you have your people like that, and all that really derives back from jazz. So he was just playing a whole lot of that around the house. Um, and that's just kind of what I grew up listening to a lot of times. Then you have my mom who was singing just to sing, just because she could sing. So we were just like, you know, so between both of it, it's just that's just kind of how I grew up.
Hmm. Now, can you sing?
Ooh, I can hold a
That was
note
like a
maybe
okay.
if under pressure, but like, could I? Nah.
Got you, got you. Okay, okay. I just had to throw that out there if there was like a hidden talent or anything like that.
No, 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 no. I would love to.
So yeah, that my wife says the same thing. I'm like, you can, like, you know what I mean? I think, see, yeah, y'all got to
If I
figure
could
that
sing,
out.
I would sing everything I said, and I feel like that's why I didn't get that talent. I would abuse it. I would have came on here just just going
I,
crazy.
I feel like everybody could sing if you learned. I don't know. That's my philosophy. I think everybody has the potential. Um, but anyway, that's a personal thought. So, back to you, Jasmine. So, as you're getting older and your style kind of develops, what do you like now? Now, I have an idea because if you follow Jasmine on Instagram, there is a post or a reel, I guess it's called, of you just like going vinyl for vinyl with yourself. So, how did your music taste develop into what it is now?
Ooh, okay. I can definitely say my music taste is very, very representative. It's like a very good representation of just not just who I am, but like how I've grown up as well. I think I was saying earlier that jazz is one of like my absolute favorite things in the world. I could go on about it for days. And so even now, even in like the vinyls I buy and everything, I just really love jazz music. And then from there, I think it kind of like blended over into like things that sounded jazz like to me or that had jazz samples in it. A lot of that was like your Badus, your Dillas, very like Soulquarian sounding ish, you know? So I really, really love and enjoy that as well. I have a deep affinity for like Tribe, De La Soul, things like that. Um, Anything that Dilla ever put his hands on, I'm a like. So just kind of like round that up. But
Hmm.
even now, things that sound very similar to that, even with like current music, I've always just had like an affinity towards as well.
Gotcha. It was interesting. We went to Atlanta about 4 weeks ago and we went to see Common. And, you know, he's engaging with the crowd. And just in between, he's talking about how certain songs came together and he's telling Jay Dilla stories. And I see the thumbnail of this reel on Instagram. You have the Black Star album.
Mm-hmm.
And Common performed his respiration verse, and
Oh,
like I
yes.
lost it. I didn't know what to expect seeing Common. I thought he was going to perform cuts from the new project, which he did, but like he did respiration. I like stood up, like I like lost my mind. Common was one of the best pro- um performances I've ever seen. Um so anything Jay Dilla put his hands on and in jazz and things like that. So let's dive into the aspect of DJing because I haven't had a DJ on the show in years and I've never had a female DJ on either.
Mm-hmm.
So talk about your uh how you got interested in it, what just how did this happen, because that's a pretty niche thing to get into.
Okay, so with DJing, I've always wanted to get into it. I've for some reason always stopped myself. And I didn't know why, because for a while I was like, I really want to produce. I really want to do something with the music I love, you know? Like I want to find a way to do something with it. And a few years ago I had brought a man, it's by this company called, hold on, I actually tell you exactly what it is. It was by this company called because I want to get it right. Teenage Engineering or something like that. It was a sampler machine. The most confusing machine I ever brought in my life. I looked at it. I was like, it, to this day, I look at them buttons. I get stressed out,
Yeah.
and I was like, but I still really want to do something. And around that time, I had thrown a party at my house, and one of my friends came over with her husband. He's an amazing DJ, DJ Easy E. He's out of California now, and I saw him DJ that night at the party, and I was like, that's what I want to do. Like, I could do that. I could figure that out. And if I can figure that out, I can learn how to do anything else. So right after that, I had told him, I was like, look, I really want to get into this. He told me what to get. Went to the store next week, brought the board, got Serato, and ever since then, I just was like, I'm gonna learn how to do this. And it really all stemmed from me just like really liking. I've always loved the idea of sampling. I've always loved the idea of taking one song and making it something different, or like switching something up in a way and just like changing the whole vibe of it while still keeping its integrity. And the ability to do that with a board is just the coolest thing ever to me. And I don't know, like I feel like it's a really cool way to like show respect to just music and musicians that you really love, while also like putting people on to different things as well. If that
Yeah.
makes any sense.
Yeah. Absolutely. It does make sense. And just to get a gauge of the time frame, what year or how long ago was this that DJ Easy E kind of
This
inspired you?
would, I want to say it's 2 years ago.
Okay.
2 years ago, yeah, because for a while I was which I still kind of am sometimes, like just a straight bedroom DJ. Like I would just come home from work
Hmm.
and just be in there till like 3 in the morning. And if anyone asked, I'd be like, I'm not a DJ. I don't, because like I didn't know what I was doing. I just liked
Hmm.
the ability to like mess with these songs and play with them. So yeah, it's probably like 2 years of just like straight DJing in my room.
Got you. Okay. So, all right. How would you describe the workings of a DJ? Just what you do, the intricacies, the learning experience. Um, because when I think of DJ, I think of scratching and everything and them hitting switches and all this, but I don't really know what's going on up there.
So I can honestly say I am learning the workings of it right now. And it's giving me a very, very deep respect and reference for DJs, because there's a lot going on in here and out there and on the computer and stuff. And even with the way that people DJ now, it's a lot more simpler than when people were DJing with like, with like vinyl records and stuff. It's simplified itself a lot. But I think being up there and playing in front of people, it's just like, it's one, knowing your crowd, which is something I'm still learning as well. It's knowing your crowd, and it's just being able to like see a room and figure out how you want that room to feel, and then just directing them in that direction through
And
music, which is so cool because like I'm not saying anything ever. I'm just playing songs, and I'm like, all right, like, are you feeling it? Are you getting it? Like, you
yeah.
can control the vibe, just with like the songs that you play and the way that you like transition them and stuff.
Mhm. Now, what would you say is your style of DJing? Like, if you didn't have to worry about the crowd and everything, you were just doing your own set, what would you describe your style?
Oh man, I would play whatever I want, and I would DJ with my back to the wall so no one could look at me, because I do not like being looked at. When I DJ, it makes me so nervous. If I could DJ and like nobody cared what I played, I would probably straight up just play like I would play songs, and then I would like transition them into the samples of songs that I love. Because again, I love sampling. I think it's the coolest thing in the world.
Mhm.
And I would want to find a way to show off how cool those samples are when I DJ.
I like
If
what you're getting at.
if I'm making
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
any sense, okay.
I like what you're getting at. I think yeah. I like what you're getting at. I think we went skating a couple weeks ago, and like the DJ, I guess it was like a popular skate DJ in the skating world, and like he did something similar to that, and I really like that. Like he set a good vibe at the skating function.
Hmm.
So I was even thinking like I don't know what the original sample was from like Devil in a New Dress, but I would just imagine if I could hear, and that's an amazing Kanye song. So
Mm-hmm.
just hearing like the original song, then transitioning to
And then
Devil in the
hearing
New
it go into like, it's
Yeah.
so cool. And in a sense, like I would want to do it in a way which like is so unrealistic. I wouldn't even want people to be able to like dance or vibe to it. I just want everybody to sit there and be like, wow, that was,
Hmm.
I had no clue that that was that song.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like describing an impossible party right now, but I was like, I just want everybody to sit down and be like, I did not know that was that. And just clap. Like,
So, all right. So this leads me to another question. So you talked about DJ Easy E. Shout
mm-hmm.
out to that guy. Shout out to that man. But is there a specific DJ or a specific style that you kind of you saw another DJ and said, I want to emulate that?
Oh yeah, there's this DJ. Her name is Lovey.
Mhm.
Super cool. First time I saw her, she was did I see her in person? I saw her in person. I didn't realize it was her. And then I was online and I saw her again and I said, oh, wait, I've seen her before. And she DJs with vinyl, which is like a whole different world that I would love to get into one day. But another thing I loved is that she was not playing anything I've ever heard before. So she was DJing straight, just like disco.
Okay.
So she was doing like the Brothers Johnson and just like she was just like it seemed like she was playing whatever she liked. And I really loved the way she did that because it really made her DJing feel like more of an experience as opposed to like I'm here to dance to songs I really like already.
Mhm.
Because I'm not a huge party person either. So I'm never like oh, let's go that's just not me. But I love to just listen to people DJ. And when I heard her sets, I was like, this is something I really want to be able to do.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's talk about the setup, and thank you for sharing that as well. So now, does Lovey, let me ask a follow-up question to that. Does Lovey have like work on Apple Music that we can find, or SoundCloud,
She
YouTube?
has a SoundCloud for sure. And I think all of the links to everything that she does is on her Instagram. But I
Okay.
know for sure she's on SoundCloud.
Okay. Well, I'll follow up with you after we're done recording and find her Instagram. We'll plug it
Yeah.
in the link if you're watching this on YouTube. So, um, you mentioned vinyl and wanting to get into that as well. So, what does your current DJ setup look like?
Currently I am using the Newmark Platinum FX and I'm running that through Serato.
Okay, now explain that to a first grader.
All right, so there's a board, right? The board is Newmark. The software is Serato. So you have Serato, you open that up. You have all your music in there, and then you can queue up your songs, and you use the board to basically scratch. So if you think of like that old school DJ set with the big, with the records and
Yeah.
everything, they're just like little records, and they're stuck on
Yes.
the board. And you use that
Yes.
to kind of mix through it. And that's
Hmm.
kind of like how I'm running it now. I know some people use Record Box. Um, I know there's different types of boards you can get, but the one I'm using right now is the Newmark.
Okay, thank you. You explained that very well because,
I hope
yeah,
so. I was like, I
yeah,
don't know if it's gonna make no sense, but it's two
yeah.
circles
Thank
and
you. That made a lot of sense. Thank you very much. So, let's talk about the learning curve as well. So, you're just about 2 years in, if I understand correctly. Um, how would you rate your progress? How do you learn? Is it a trial and error thing or YouTube?
So I am very stubborn and I refuse to look anything up for real. I just was kind of like, I'm gonna just sit in front of this until it makes sense. So there was like a few months when I first started where I was like, this is dumb. I'm not touching this no more. But I was like, nah, you pay for it, you go figure this out. You figure this out.
Yeah.
So I would definitely say the first month is really just calling friends a lot and being like, yo, how does this work? Then I think once I got like the very basics of it, I had this thing where I would do it. I'd be like, oh, that's cool. And then I wouldn't touch it for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks at a time. And for some reason, every time I would leave it alone for a few weeks, when I came back, I'll be so much better at it. I don't know what happened. I don't know if I'm letting it marinate, but like I'll learn something, like, yeah, that's fun. And then I'll just be like, all right, that's enough. And go do something else.
Yeah.
Recently I stopped doing that. Now I'm on it every single day. But I think for a while it was just learning the mechanisms of it. Once I got that, I feel like the hardest part, and it's the part I'm still really learning to love, is song choice and playlist and like choosing your playlist. I like what I like, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I'm learning to play whatever people like or blend it together. Because in a perfect world, I would play everything I want to play and everybody just clap and be like, that was great.
Yeah.
But you have to play for the crowd. So I think as much as it was like learning the mechanisms, it's really choosing the right selections of songs for your crowd. You know, because you could play a really good playlist with no transitions at all and everybody go crazy because the playlist is just fire, you
Hmm.
know? So as much as it's like mixing, it's also like having good song selection that keeps people like up in hype, which is I think the
Yeah.
point I'm at now is just like finding that perfect mix and then just like perfecting it.
Gotcha. Was that me or you?
That was me. My fault.
Oh, I'm
You
like,
look so
okay.
you look like you felt bad. I was like, dang,
Yeah,
should I just let
yeah.
him
Now, I legit thought that was me. I'm like, I know my stuff
Nah,
is
that
on
was
do not
me. My
disturb.
fault.
Okay, no, 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 no. You're good. You're good. This is real. This is real stuff. So, um, how is the transitioning? I feel like as a DJ, I remember. I want to give a shout out to my homeboy DJ, Not Your Average Joe. And I remember just watching his journey. And now he's located in the DMV, but he lived up here in Pittsburgh for a while. And I remember he was like doing house parties, and the transitions were like, he was learning. So the transitions weren't super seamless, but now like he's doing big events and all this stuff, and he's just like on top of it. So what was it like, like doing something like the transitions? Because I know it ain't easy.
It's not. It is not. And for somebody who already does not like being perceived sometimes, um, I was looking so intently when I would do them because like, all right, did that hit? Was it good? Was it not?
Hmm.
Because like when you first start, it's bad. It's just like it's not good at all. And then slowly you start learning certain things like, oh, I could beat match. Oh, I could do this. I could do that. I think for me, the biggest thing was timing because I am a tad bit impatient. In the moment I figure out what song I want to play next, I'm like, now let's do it now. And
Yeah.
again, so much of it is reading a crowd and letting people enjoy things before you just like switch up on the songs.
Yeah.
And so recently, what I've been doing is because with Serato you can use like stems, which some people say is cheating. I say it's fun, so. But like you can like take out like the drums in certain areas, you can take out like the melody. And so if you get a really good song and it goes well, you take out the drums in one song, play the drums in the other song, let them play together. It makes for this really nice, like you can hear what's gonna happen before it happens type thing.
Hmm.
Which again was just a lot of trial and error on my part because if you heard when I first got that trash, horrible. It was just
Yeah.
pots and pans. But I think everyone kind of figures out what their preferred way of transitioning is, and you just kind of stick with it. And I think mine's I really like playing with the drums and like songs and just kind of like going from there.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for sharing that. I like that. And one thing that'll stick with me is pots and pans because I've experienced the pots and pans
You heard a bad
sound.
transition, you remember that
Yeah.
bad transition, you're like, God dog, what are you turn
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
off, please.
That makes a lot of sense. So what and you talked about, being a tad bit impatient, and that brings me to the question, what have you learned? And it's kind of a vague question, but what has DJing taught you?
Um, patience and discipline and a great deal of humility. I think the thing with I think with me with DJing and with playing with music and stuff and just anything is because of the way social media works, you will see people hop on the internet and be good at stuff in an hour. And it's so easy to be like, I should be good at that because she's good at that and she just picked it up. I don't know them people life. But because we see it, I think at least for me, for some reason I was just like, nah, this should be easy. And everything is not always easy. Things take time. Like you gotta practice stuff, you know? Like there's a reason why DJs are good at what they do is because they practice for a while. You know, and I think for me, I had to get out of my own head and I had to stop looking at people that I didn't even know who I was like, oh, well, she DJs and she did it. And I had to be like, well, I have to practice myself. Like I had to step out of that ego part where I feel like I should be great at something immediately and just learn, just like put in the time and learn. In that discipline I wish I had if I would have kept doing piano. I had to relearn how to put that into something like this because I really enjoy doing it.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, and thank you for sharing that. So let's talk about events or parties, or what do you do now with your DJing? What type of things do you host?
So now recently I've started small because like I said, I'm not a huge like party. I'm not the life of the party type person, but I like to see people have fun. And so when I first started, I started just like hosting things at my house recently. I've kind of made a thing out of it. So we call it live from the living room. And I'll pick a theme for the month and have people over, make it like a vibe, make it really chill, and I'll just play my sets from there and then I'll just post them.
Wow.
And I think it's given me an opportunity to get more comfortable behind the board because again, I've been doing it for a bit, but playing in front of people is still something that's like, you
Hmm.
know, it's a little different when there's a crowd and like you're looking at their faces, you know? So just getting comfortable. It's just been like do doing little things. And then from there, people like, oh, can you play this or can you play that? And I'm still like, yeah, I guess I can play this. You know, but like mainly I've tried to just keep that up just as a form of like testing out new stuff for people.
Yeah. What has the reaction been since you've been doing that?
Apparently people like it. I did
Okay.
not know. Crazy what happens when you post stuff
Yeah.
and you invite people over. But yeah, like people have enjoyed it so far. It's been fun to like get their feedback, good or bad. Cause like I remember I sent my first one to my friend and he was like, it's good, but you could have fixed this and that. And I always thought when I got feedback for the first time, I would like be crushed. And I was like, oh no, you're right.
Hmm.
But it's like the confidence you get in doing something makes that feedback easier because you're like, I know I can do it. I just know I can be better, you know?
Gotcha. Yeah.
And so the feedback I've gotten from regular people is they love it. The feedback I get from my friends that are DJs are like, it's cool, but you could have fixed this.
Hmm.
And both of it together is just like instilled this confidence in me that I'm excited to do more now.
Yes. Yes. That's what's up. That's what's up. Um, Things cost money, especially
Mhm.
when you're dealing with like music production. Hobbies ain't cheap,
They're
and
not.
money don't grow on trees. You have to work to fund your skill and hone your craft. And you do hair,
I
right?
do.
Okay, all right.
Hmm.
You do hair, and you also have a hair page on Instagram, right?
Hmm.
And can you say that for the people who may need something done with their headpiece?
My hair page is jasmine.coif. So coif meaning hair in French or like a type of hairstyle in French. So it's JSMNNE.COIF.
Okay, and you do hair in Connecticut and in New York, right?
Yes, I do. So currently I work at a salon in Connecticut and right now I just do regular hair stuff and I'm learning to specialize in hair cutting specifically. So men and women, I really love cutting hair. My end goal with that is I really want to work on production and set.
Okay.
Mhm.
That's a pretty cool goal. So let's talk about some hair stuff, cuz
Hair stuff.
yeah, hair is big. Hair is big. And as a male, you hit the barber shop, tell them what you want, get me a little fade shape up. You're in and out in 30 minutes once you get in the chair.
Mm.
But for the female, it's not as simple. So what let's take a journey through your youth to now, but when it comes to hair. So uh growing up as a female, as a you black? I
Yes,
don't
yeah, yeah.
as
Very much
as
so.
I can't assume these days. So a black woman, um, what was your hair journey like?
Ooh, okay. I love it. Growing up as a black woman, my hair journey, I will say my mom, as far as I know, has always had natural hair. Um, my sisters always had natural hair. We were very used to like getting our hair done usually. You know, we're black, so we always do like braids, things like that, your normal styles. And in my house, it's me, my sister, and my mom, and my dad. So he was the only dude. It's funny enough, growing up, my dad was a barber.
Mm,
But we always just got our hair done. It was cool. And then I remember one day I turned like probably like 12. And my dad was like, it's costing too much money for this. Cause he was paying for me, my mom, and my sister to get our hair done. And he was like, yeah, I can't keep this up. So one day I went to the hair store and I posted up in the mirror and I just practiced. And it looked bad at first.
mhm.
But I just practiced and practiced. I kept doing it. And then eventually I just started doing my own hair all the time. And then I started doing other people's hair and just growing up. Oddly enough, growing up, I never thought I would do hair or transition into hair, honestly. Even career path wise, it's been something that I decided based off of like multiple different aspects of things I love. But it was never like a ultimate, like, this is what I wanted to do,
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
yeah. So I do have a question. So your mom was natural,
Mm-hmm.
and she kept you natural. That's my assumption.
Yeah.
Okay, so so when you would get braids and stuff, you
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't get like, you know what I mean, like the Senegalese twist or the you know what I mean? Did you get any sort of extension? Because that's still
Yeah.
natural, right? Like
Yeah,
protective
yeah, no,
styles.
that is. Yeah, like,
Okay.
yeah, I would say like protective styles, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Like for the summertime, you went on vacation, your usual, like your black girl braids
Yeah.
on the beach, real long type
Mhm.
stuff.
Okay. So you weren't getting no perms pretty much. No
No,
chemicals. Okay.
no.
Got you. Okay, thank you for the clarification.
You're
I'm still ignorant. You know what I mean?
you good. You're good. You're
Uh,
good.
it's even funny. Just the other day, me and my wife Kayla, we were, um, I thought I knew something. I'm like, I could tell when it's a wig. I can tell when, and she quizzed me. She showed me some women with hair, and I don't know. I can't tell the difference between a wig and natural hair. So there's just a lot that I don't know about the
It's
hair game.
fine. It's not even for you to know, you know? That's the fun
Hmm.
of it all. You're like, is that her hair? Is it gonna
Hmm.
blow away in the wind? We gonna know. It's the fun of the game.
So, did you end up going to school when you were able to decide, like, you know what? I think I am going to do hair.
No, I went to regular school, graduated college, and then I was having this moment where I was like, I finished school and I was working an office job, and I was just like, I hate this. I had never grown up. My parents never even worked office jobs. Like they are artists to their core.
Hmm.
They've always that's just their life. So I never even grew up experiencing it. But I finished school, I was working a job, and I was just like, ain't no way I can do this for the rest of my life. And I thought about all the things I loved, all the things I did. I love people. I love people. I love talking to people. I love getting to learn about people. I just like I love that as humans we can just like share stories and like touch each other with words.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, cool. And so I was like, all right, so now what you want to do with that information? So I just thought about it and I was like, and I always did hair and I've always done art in some way. And I was like, well, what is it if I combine the three of them? And I was like, oh, girl, that's a hairstylist. So then
Yeah.
I was like, what happens if I mix those up? And I was like, that's already a job. So then I switched school. Started at a salon in Connecticut that I like. And then from there, I started thinking about the parts of hair that I like because currently the salon that I work at, even the area that I'm in, we do not have a lot of people of color. So I'm doing a lot of
Hmm.
blowouts and a lot of just like, stuff I've had to learn myself.
Gotcha.
And I really just grew this affinity towards cutting hair. Like I love cutting shags. I love cutting super like asymmetrical looking bobs.
Mm-hmm.
I love doing like 60s style, like beehives and updos. Anything a little bit avant-garde, a little bit like freaky deaky looking, I'm always
Mm-hmm.
like dying to do it. And so the fact that I get to do something like that in the field that I'm in is super cool. And I get to talk to people all day. So it's kind of like
Yeah.
I won, you know?
Yeah. 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 You know what? It's interesting. Uh, it's interesting that you like to talk to people. I don't. It's kind of ironic.
Hey, podcast. Isn't
Yeah.
this
Well, I'll say this. I guess for work.
mm,
Yeah, like it's a form of customer service. You do get to be creative and you get to service people, but yeah, I'm glad that there are people in the world like yourself. Cause yeah, I just can't. When you said you get to talk to people all day, that sounds horrible to me.
somebody's got to do it, you know? And
Somebody's got to do it.
I will take it up. But I mean, there needs to be an even amount of people that also just like doing their jobs. Because if
Hmm.
I could just down and talk to somebody for 8 hours straight and be like, yeah, girl, that was fun. Bye.
Yeah, it's
You know, it balances out.
good for you. I hope they tip you well. So,
You too.
yeah. What did you initially go to college for? What field were you in?
So I initially went for business and I was about to go back and get the credits I needed so that I could go to school again because I really wanted to go for art therapy. Like for like a solid 2 years. It was like mid COVID though. I was really debating about going back to school and just becoming like a licensed art therapist. Because again, talking to people, doing art. I was like, whatever I do, it has to do that. If I'm gonna do something for the next 30 years, it's gonna have to be something in
Yeah.
those fields.
Okay.
And I thought about that for a while, and then I was just like, "Girl, you hated sitting in the classroom. You hated turning papers." And so I was like, "No, sorry, we can't do that." And
Yeah.
the next closest thing I thought was like, "Yeah, if I do hair, I can do all those things." Like stylists are
Okay.
therapists.
Yeah. Do you This is going back to like kind of, thinking back in terms of regret. Do you regret going to school?
Hmm. I wish I figured out. I want to say yes because of the time that was the time, but I would also like to say I feel like waiting, I go even with like going to school for hair and stuff, I went a bit older. And I think some of the kids there were like 18, 19 when I started. And you can tell they still were trying to figure out what they wanted to do, which is the same way I went to school the first time, you know? So
Yeah.
I think waiting a little bit allowed me to really go in and like with like a straight head of like this is what I want to do. If I could have did that earlier, yes, but I don't think I would have been in the mindset if I went at that age. So I don't know because like I try not to have regrets about stuff
Yeah.
out loud. I be having regrets about stuff, but I try to be like, you know, if I could have did it earlier with the mindset I have now, I wish I would have did it. I do feel like being in school still taught me things, you know?
Right.
Definitely that I didn't need to go to school, but like more than anything, I felt like it gave me an extra sense of discipline that I always felt like I needed, you know, so that when I really did figure out what I wanted to do, I went into it like, nah, this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, because I was not going to school again after that. I was.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, it's I value education myself,
Mhm.
but the idea of school is off-putting. So,
Yeah, I really don't think kids should go to school till they're like 24.
it's
And
kind
like
of
I
crazy.
know that's like a weird take, but it's just like you get into so much debt. You're signing up for something, and truthfully, you don't even know if that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
Like you're not like you're a baby, and then it's
Yeah.
gonna send you somewhere. You just spent all this money, and now you get out, and you're like, well, now I have to do it
Mm-hmm.
because like look at how far into the hole I've dug myself. You know,
Yeah.
I definitely feel like I wish I would have like took a step back a little bit, and
Yeah.
then yeah,
It's kind of like society. Well, living in, a first world country, the American culture, it's like it's just so expected of you. to go straight from high school into some sort of secondary school. So it's, that's a whole other conversation. But okay. And have you been able to apply what you learned going to school for business into your life now?
Yes, definitely. I will say there are little tactics and things that I did learn, and just like ways to do certain things that I definitely do feel like I um apply in like my regular life and like the life I have now, even with the way I try to like market myself as a stylist and things like that. A lot of what I get honestly is just from having two parents that worked for themselves their whole life and kind
Hmm.
of like mimicking what they did in like a in my own way, you know?
Yeah.
But I definitely do feel like if school taught me anything, it was discipline. It was getting up and doing something every day, even when you don't want to do it. Because I think with like doing hair and stuff, it's a lot more hustling. It's a lot more, hey, come let me do your hair. Hey,
Yeah.
please come. you know, it's a lot of groveling, which is something I
Yeah.
was not the best at. And I think using certain things that I learned in school alongside with what I do now definitely has made it easier.
Okay, that's a good thought too. Let's segue into, getting clientele.
Mhm.
Cuz it's like once you, I know for, you black men, once you get a barber, that's your barber unless you, move away. So, how was it like for you getting clients and keeping clients?
I would say a lot of it is just for me, I've tried to draw them in with the good old personality side of it, you know? I feel like sometimes it doesn't matter, and it does matter to an extent, but it doesn't matter how good you are as much as how you make people feel. I think in life, people will come back because of the way you make them feel. And I think I try to deliver an experience to where whether you loved the blowout I gave you or not, you had a good time and you're excited to come back for next time. I think when it comes to even in school still, like when people would come in and they would, come in for haircuts and stuff, having them come back was really just like, look, I don't know what I'm doing, but
Hmm.
we gonna have a good time. And as long as you're having a good time and you're here for the ride, we gonna figure this out, So
Yeah.
a lot of it is just like for me, it was just especially because I was dealing with people who were very different from me. Again, I'm not from the East Coast. So I would just try to draw them in with just good old fashioned being nice and asking a lot of questions and letting them talk and just
Hmm.
speaking to them as if they were coming back anyways.
Yeah.
And for some reason they came back and they keep coming back.
Yeah. That's good. You mentioned, because this thought was running through my head. You said there's not a lot of people of color. There's people who, it's a community that you are not accustomed to, coming from New Orleans. So, how frustrating, or if not frustrating, what was it like learning to cut European styled hair or do European styled hair, not just
Ooh,
cut it?
Lord, when I first touched straight hair on a mannequin, I remember just being like, it keeps moving. Like it's just straight.
Hmm.
And that's cool, It's cool.
Hmm.
But it moves so much. And the way I was being taught was by people who have only ever touched their hair. So for me, things that were challenges to me to them was like common sense. Like they were like, "Oh, you to do a blowout, you just have to hold the hair." And I was like, "The hair keeps moving though.
Yeah.
Like it just moves. It just tangles." And it took a while to get used to it. I think I still get used to it sometimes. But I think one thing I had to learn, and I say it all the time, and people are like, "No," is that like hair is hair at the end of the day. The same methods you use to blow dry my hair is very similar to the ones you use on straight hair. You just tackle it slightly different. But hair is hair is hair. If mine might fall out, somebody might fall down, but you're gonna tackle it very similar. And once I stopped considering it as like some other world, I was just like, oh, hair is hair.
Yeah.
And I was able to like kind of get out of my head about thinking how it was so different and started just seeing the similarities in it.
That is a very interesting thought. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, thank you very much for sharing that. So, moving forward with and I'm gonna kind of do two different questions in one, or the same question but applying to both DJing and hair, because I forgot to ask this question with DJing. Um, where would you like to go with DJing, and where would you like to go with um, being a hairstylist? Now, you did kind of give away the hairstylist part, but just
Oops.
for a refresher, for a refresher.
Yeah, so with DJing, I would love for DJing to become something where I could teach or show off how beautiful music is. I've never wanted to be a like hype house party DJ. And I think they're some of the most talented because to control a room like that is incredible. But I think DJing for me always stemmed from a really deep love of all forms of music. And I would love to DJ and perform for people in a way that just allows them to like truly appreciate all types of music, like
Hmm.
it from all different genres and from all different decades, just like a true listening experience would be super cool. So to even be able to like even what I do now where like I have people over and host, I would love to even be able to do that for on a larger scale and just have people just come and just listen and be able to like really take in what they're hearing.
Is there something like that now? Because I really like this
If there
idea.
is, I want to know because I
Okay.
would love to go. Like
Yeah.
I feel like there is. I just have to find it.
Yeah. If not, I don't know. You got to patent something, trade, come up with a name, patent, trademark it. But
Like
I like the idea.
there's nothing new under the sun. I know somebody has to have done it.
Hmm.
But whenever I think about what I want to do with DJ, I'm like, I just want people to just be able to like just immerse themselves in the music, not for the purpose of dancing or for the purpose of
Hmm.
like just be able to like hear it and just I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna write that down so I can
Yeah.
really like
Yeah.
get my words out. But like that's in my head, that's what I really want to do.
Yeah. Figure that out. I would like to see that. Like in all seriousness and honesty, that is a good idea. That is a very good idea. Okay, so I'm getting wrapped up in your idea. So where would you like to go with the hair?
With hair, ultimately, I think I said before I would love to do like set and production. Even like editorial style I really
Hmm.
love. Anything that I love detailed work. So I used to do like I used to do bead work and like embroidery and I love very detailed things. And so I would love to be able to use hair as an art form. So to be able to do it for set design, I would love to do I would love to do like wig design
Hmm.
for stage plays and stuff. Anything that allows me to combine art with what I'm licensed in would be super ideal.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that. And we're going to wind down here. We're nearing the end. I want to just ask about one other thing, because it seems that you have like kind of like an aesthetic thing going. Like you have a sense of style. You know what I'm saying?
What?
So
Thank you. I'll take it.
yeah, at least that's what I see. You know what I mean? Like you have a real neat Instagram. You're kind of mysterious, which is a good thing. You don't want to be giving out all your information online. So um let's just talk about your sense of style, your colors, things like that. You do the jewelry thing as well. Like you got this gold piece that has been shining this entire
Oh
interview.
Lord, it's the
So
light. My phone.
but no, like it's hitting. You know what I'm saying? Like it,
Appreciate it.
it,
I'll
it
take it. What is it? I think it's my Louisiana. Is it?
okay,
Yeah,
you got the boot. You got the boot on the chain.
I got the
So
boot on.
so let's just talk about your sense of style, your aesthetic. What's your vibe? What do you go for?
What's my vibe? I will say my vibe has always been very, very comfortable. Well, not exactly comfortable. I think I've always just been drawn to what I like, and then I try to play off of that in a way that is acceptable. So foreign, I've always loved t-shirts and baggy jeans for some reason. And because I grew up with a mom who was like, you need to put some earrings on. And I gravitated to just wearing a lot of jewelry. So I'm always wearing a ton of bracelets, a ton of necklaces, just to kind of like add like a feminine side to what I usually wear because I've always optimized like comfort. So I think even in just like the way I dress now, I'm very big on like accessories. I'm very big on like the little things changing up a style. So I usually go like very basic with what I wear. And then when I dress it up, I'll try to dress it up with like the bag I'll like yeah, like the bag I wear, like the jewelry I wear, or the glasses I put on for the day. So I'm really big on accessories as a way to like show my personality.
Gotcha. Okay.
If you could hear him as I've been talking, he's just been making all this noise.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. You big jewels on, big jewels. You could, yeah,
I'm
you could hear it all.
sorry.
No, 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 no. It adds personality to to the interview. I know like oh sorry, were you about to say something?
No, you're good.
I know like now I'm not this is once again another topic. I'm a hypocrite. Let me just say this. I'll preface I'm a
Oh
hypocrite.
no.
Yeah, in the hip hop culture, you get some money, you buy a bunch of jewelry, and then, these rappers go broke and they're selling the jewelry. But at the same time, like watching a freestyle, like a Funk Master Flex freestyle when Meek Mill got all his jewelry on and he's just going in and you could hear it, the chains clinking
Mm-hmm.
together. I don't know. It just adds like a certain personality to it.
I
It
love
just,
the sound of it. I don't know why. I love when I hear jewelry. Like I'm just like, yeah.
mm-hmm.
I don't know. Plus, when you look at people with bracelets and jewelry, like for me, I want to know where they got every single piece from. Because I feel like it's at least with like women, when I see like a handful of bracelets, I'm like, tell me where you got every single one from. Like,
Wow.
break it down. Like, tell me, because you learn so much about people by what they choose to put on their body.
Mm-hmm.
So I think with me, when I put on my jewelry, I'm like, nah, everything I have on is like, which me, I just love to talk. I'm like, I can tell you about everything, like if it adds a bit of me to it without having to like vocalize it.
This should be your job. You should be the podcaster.
What? Nah, I'm sitting here talk, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm like this you would probably be cut out for, interviewing and stuff like that.
They
Asking
knew better
about
than to give me a podcast mic. Oh.
hey, you might want to add that to your arsenal. But okay, this has been enjoyable. Now I always leave at the end of an interview a window open for you to just, if there was anything that I missed, anything you wanted to express about whatever we talked about, or just add something. The floor is yours. Shout outs. I used to say sneak disses, but I stopped doing that. But
Dang, that was a good one. I'd be like, well, this we're here.
so the floor is yours to.
Oh man. Who I want to shout out? I definitely want to shout out again my friend Emmanuel, DJ Easy E, mainly because I am learning how to DJ. He is the DJ. Super fire. And truly everything I'm learning is because I will call him up and be like, hey, how to do this. So I would love to take the credit as a DJ. I will say I want to give respect to people who are really full time doing it. For sure. What else? As people, we gotta be more creative. We gotta get more hobbies, We
Yeah,
gotta do more stuff. Hobbies are expensive, but they're worth it. They make life really fun. So
I agree.
if anybody wants to get into something, just do it. You don't have to be good at it. Just start it. It's the fun part. That's pretty
Right.
much it.
You never know where it'll take you. Thank you
You
for
never
sharing
know where
that.
it'll take
Uh,
you.
and this just one last thing. Do you have a DJ name? Do you have a stage name?
So I just thought of it maybe like a month ago. I'm going with DJ JayBee. So my initials are JayBee. One of my favorite producers is JD.
Mm-hmm.
So JayBee.
JayBee.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because of the necklace, I automatically added JB from the boot. So
Yo, I'm about to pack. You know what? You know
if you
what?
if you use it, you thought of it. You get all the credit because
Thank you so much.
you
I was looking like
inceptioned
I
it
did
in me.
anyways. I'm like, look, I thought of something last night, y'all. I had a dream.
Yeah, yeah. You kind of like inceptioned it in my mind. So J, yeah.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
So DJ JayBee or
Yes.
DJ JayBee from the booth.
Either
Thank
one. I like it.
thank you for coming on the Cool Hand podcast. This was very enjoyable. I'm just going to tell you, I drove in from, now I live in Pittsburgh. We went to go see a concert yesterday in Cleveland. I
Ooh.
came back, got back around 3 a.m. I had one of the homies with me, just dropped him off at home. Came back at 3 a.m. I work 8 to 4:30. We have family worship, and I was extremely tired. But your positive and talkative nature, in a good way, it woke me up. So thank you, because I was thinking, I'm like, why do I be scheduling this stuff?
Man, thank you. I was so nervous. I appreciate
Oh no,
it.
this was a really good interview. So everybody, check Jasmine out if you get the privilege to see her um DJ inside the crib. I guess you really got to know her for that, but we'll see what's coming next.
That's
And that's
real.
it.
Strangers can come. It's all cool. Just don't
Oh
steal my
no,
stuff.
and
Y'all
you
go.
could.
No, for sure. I'm gonna be posting all my mixes on SoundCloud, so anybody could go there and hear them.
Okay, and what is your SoundCloud?
My SoundCloud is J. It's the same as my Instagram, so JSMNE.CHA.
We will plug that in the description. Cool Hand Podcast, something you got to deal with. Easy. And that's
Awesome.
it.
Thank you so much. This was
Yeah,
fun.
thank you.